Ryzen build. I originally had put together a Ryzen system right when it came out using this board, the Gigabyte D3H. It's a B350 board, and it actually overclocked really well. I could get 3200 megahertz on the RAM, and it did pretty good, but the VRMs just got so hot. It was good for benchmarking. It could handle video encoding, but the second I stressed it with small FTT primes or at 4 gigahertz, the VRMs would just get over like 120 degrees Celsius, and that's way hot. So I decided I need to step up to an X370 board with better VRM cooling. Unfortunately, they don't have that size available. There's one ASRock board, I believe, there's one BioStar board that is a micro ATX that works, but it's not readily available. I don't think it's even out yet. So I liked the way the Gigabyte was working, so I opted for this one, the AX370 Gaming K7, which I'll do a video about in the near future. But the other dumb thing is I had to step up from, I had a Corsair 350D case, and that was micro ATX. But to do full-size ATX, I had to step up to this guy right here. This is the Enthoo Pro M, and I may eventually do some water cooling. I'm really kind of an air cooling guy. I just don't think the price of water cooling is worth what the gains are. That's just me. I do think water cooling is very cool, and I do think the setups that people do, especially when they look at it from a really artistic point of view, some of them look just so cool. But for me, right now, I'm just going to stick to air cooling, and I've got the NHU 14S to do that with an AM4 bracket. Got my Ryzen 7 1700X and an Oros GeForce GTX 1080 Ti that should pair with this board really nicely. Note the matching logos. M2 NVMe SSD, the 960 Pro, 1 terabyte. Got my G-Scale Flare X, which I could run full speed in the B350 board. So I'm optimistic for the Gaming K7, but I've heard some people are having issues with it, so we'll see. Oh, I've also got a bunch of these fans. These are Noctua fans. I've got enough for the whole case. And what these should allow me to do is just have some really high quality fans in the case that all match. Normally Noctua fans are all pink, if you've noticed on their coolers, but you can buy replacement fans that are these gray ones. This is the Redux series, and it doesn't come with all the bells and whistles like in terms of accessories, but other than that, they're really nice fans, very good 140 millimeter fans that attach with 120 millimeter holes. So it should look really neat on this case right here. And because I absolutely refuse to give up an optical drive, that's why I opted for this Enthoo case. A lot of people are using Phanteks cases. You see a ton of them on pretty much everyone's builds, but I opted for the Pro M specifically because it has that optical drive. It's also got the glass side plate. So this will look really nice when it's all put together, especially with the LED features of this board. So I'm just going to do a time lapse of this build, and you can check it out and we'll take it from there. Noctua fans installed. Pretty nice. So I'm pretty impressed with how this case goes together. It makes it easy. I was using the Corsair 350D and that was a little bit tougher, very similar, but that PSU shroud just helps clean everything up, and a little bit extra space in the back to route the cables along with the built-in straps that it has makes cleaning things up pretty nice. Obviously I have a little bit more to do, but I could close up that case and you would never even see any of that, and it's easy to close because there's plenty of room back there. So next step is getting the Gigabyte Oros 1080 Ti in there, and then we should have, what, let's see, 2 in front, 2 on top, 1 in back, 1 on the CPU, and 3 in here. That's about 9 fans in here, but with the way you can control the fan, if the system's at idle, the fans will be able to stop completely. So this should be completely silent when it's idling along. So we'll see how well that goes. Got my 650 Pro down there in the bottom, and let's get this thing in. I've got it all together, and I gotta say I'm super excited how this thing turned out. All that's left to do is to power it up, put the side on. I've still got my optical drive that I'm not willing to budge on. And it's looking pretty great. 10 gigabit Ethernet, 1080 Ti Aros, Ryzen 7 1700X. Got my Flare X 16 gigabyte kit, and we've got 640 millimeter fans, Noctuas. So we're pretty decked out here. Probably the ultimate Air Ryzen build, I would say. But we've even got a little HDMI port on the back of this gigabit card, which I'm thinking about possibly modding some sort of HDMI port up here. And maybe even a power port, which would be cool for doing VR right off of the side of this thing, which if I do that, I'll keep you guys posted in the videos on my channel. But other than that, I'm gonna power this thing up and see how it looks like, see what it looks like all lit up. All right, time for the very best part. So it's all up and running, and one of the cool things about this setup is the fans really will stop completely if I leave it at idle. So I can technically have this be completely silent, which is a big step up. And a big part of that is this graphics card here. I had a reference GTX 1080 Ti that even at the lowest fan speed, it still just, it kind of had this grind to it. But this is completely silent if I run the fans slow enough or have them turn off when it's not being used. And temperatures are in check, VRMs are looking good, and I'm pretty happy with this case. Everything turned out great. So thanks for watching my Ryzen build. Subscribe to the channel if you are so inclined, and stay tuned for what's next. Talk to you later.